Hello and welcome to WEF Weekly, week 2 of the Winter Equestrian Festival, and again another feast of equestrian sport, including the Key Flow Feeds Grand Prix this week as we head out onto the Derby field for the very first time in 2024, and it's a packed week 2, and the streaming again is brought to you by Dodd Technologies. Our thanks to them as well. Industry leaders providing creative design and technical support, and supported too by US Equestrian and the USEF network as well. Thank you to all of those. And so once again, we have a fantastic lineup of guests coming up for you this week to talk all manner of equestrian sport. We're touching on hunters, on jumping, and a little bit of everything here this week. And to introduce you to my guests, I'm delighted to say joining us this week, making a return this year, is Jacob Pope. Jacob, it's been a big year since you were here last year.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen.
Looking forward to talking lots about that. Hannah Selleck joins us after another good run in the Grand Prix last week as well. Hannah, very warm welcome.
Thank you.
And Jeffrey Hesslink makes his first appearance.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Looking forward to this because you've been rushing around all the rings and
I
getting you here and into action, which
Yeah.
is great to see. So let's wrap up a little of last week to see what happened there as well, because there was lots going on from our leading riders to, of course, the scores in our MS 150 series. How did that all look after last week's big competitions? Well, first, the leaderboard for the MS 150 series. Well, winner there was Jad Dana on last Sunday in the rain. We'll comment on that in a few moments' time. And there you see our top few there, Todd Minicus, having a very good start to the season, winning a WEF Challenge Cup already and finishing top 3 in that 150 Classic. McLean Ward ever present in the top 5, and Natalie Dean in 5th place after that. And last week's leading rider award, now that's based on points from 2 big classes, from the Grand Prix qualifier and the Grand Prix there, and the highest points throughout the week was Australian rider Tyser Irwin, and it was a fantastic week too for Philip McGuane of Ireland, making his debut on the Evergate horses into the big 5-star classes on a Saturday night. Dara Kenny never too far away into the top 3 as well, and they're completing our top 5 with Caitlin Connors and Natalie Dean once again. So let's talk about that Grand Prix as well from last Saturday night, Southern Arches Grand Prix, and a fantastic start to the season for Ben Mayer and Anjou. Ben coming in on the back after the win in the London World Cup qualifier just, well, a couple of weeks ago. A 9-year-old then, a 10-year-old now. And Jacob, I mean, it was a pretty impressive performance for a man who could well be world #1 come next month.
Yeah, it was. It was really exciting to watch too, and his jump off was, I mean, something to really pay attention to. I'd love to ride a jump off like that, so it was great.
Fantastic run for Ben Mayer to complete that. And then, as I mentioned, on Sunday, it was a little bit damp around the edges. In fact, it was chucking it down with rain. Jad Dana, though, was the winner. Once again, he's been picking up win after win here at the Winter Equestrian Festival and in the shows in the run-up before as well. Of course, teaming up with Leslie Howard there as well. Not the easiest of conditions, Jacob, but he still pulled it out the bag.
Yeah, I actually did the class on Sunday as well, and Jad, I feel like he's always kind of going for the win no matter what the class is. So for him to have, you know, those exciting horses and to be really kind of shining in these bigger FEI classes, I was happy for him. He's a good guy.
Talking about shining the FEI classes, we're going to come on to you and Hannah now as well. Jacob, let's come to you first and take a little look at your round with Highway. It was 4 faults this time, but it's been a very good start to the season and a fantastic season last year, which we'll talk about. But we're going to have a little look at Saturday night. How did you feel about it?
I was really happy with my round on Saturday. You know, he jumped awesome, I thought, on Thursday to qualify, and in the jump off, I really went for it to the last jump and had a kind of big mistake. So I was worried he might be a little too high on Saturday night, but I thought he went great. It was really rideable. The jump I had down, actually last year I had to go first in my first ever Saturday night. And then this year I went almost at the end, so I had a lot of time to watch, and I overthought the line I had down. It looked like it was riding long for everybody. My horse is a big stride. I should have just thought, I know this horse, and I pushed too much, got there too deep, and he jumped up really well and just didn't finish behind. So I thought he went great the rest of the round, but my mistake in the middle.
The difference is this year, last year it was a straight draw for the Grand Prix. This year the Grand Prix draws are based on your result in the qualifier.
Right.
So if you do well, which you did.
Yeah. I had to go toward the end, which is usually an advantage, and it is, but I think I just overthought too much. But I was happy with my horse, and he's ready for next week.
Hannah, you've had time to digest your rounds from Saturday night as well. Your thoughts on Cloud? It was a fantastic night once again, and it's been a wonderful partnership. How long has it been now?
I think this marks a year. My first Saturday night was this time last year. It was a little bit of a surprise, and this was much more relaxed.
Yes.
We've come off a break, so Cloud is fresh. We're just getting back in the ring after our tour in Europe on the team. So the qualifier, he was great. Kind of just getting a little bit of rust off, getting that ring ride and eye back, and he's just right there for me. So we'll jump this week and see.
And give those that aren't aware a little bit of background on Cloud.
Cloud is a horse from Mario Delorier, who is my coach, and he's just a great horse. We started our partnership last year, and he's just one of those horses that when you find your heart horse and you vibe, and this is that horse for me. I think he'd try anything he could and jump anything. So he's a little quirky at home and in the warm-up sometimes, but in the ring, he just tries his best and is right there.
Well, you had some fantastic results last year. Actually, you and Jacob teamed up on US teams, didn't you, in Portugal and Spain?
We did.
How did it go?
We were great. We were really solid.
Yeah, we podium finished both times, and I got to know some pretty great people. So that was the first time Hannah and I got to know each other, and we rode on the team together and had some clear rounds, and we brought home bronze both times.
2 podium finishes.
Yeah, it was great.
And for you as an experience, how did you feel about it?
I loved it. You know, I've had a bit of a gap from the format and the team experience, I'd say, from young riders until doing the development tour with Jacob. So, but picked up right where it left off, and we just were so lucky to have such a great group that really, bonded and banded together and fought for it.
And I'm thinking it's going to lead into big things this year. You've got to be pretty excited about it. Good results in Spruce Meadows, of course. Terrific rounds there. It's all touch wood.
Touch wood.
Going in the right direction.
Yeah, just keep moving forward.
Well, keep moving forward. It's fantastic rounds from you. Jeffrey,
Thank
let's talk hunters from that point of view. Now, you before have been winner of the Hunter Spectacular on a Saturday night.
I have.
What was that like? And give us a little bit of background to that one, because we were talking about this earlier. It was quite a sort of last minute thing.
It was. That was a night I'll remember forever. Most of the Hunter Spectaculars, I have to say, are very different for me. I normally am helping a lot of my students and other horses in the class. And the year I won, actually, it was just me. So it was a much different experience, but I think it might have worked out better for me in the end, because I was really able to focus on kind of take my time in the warm-up and make sure I was relaxed before I went in and really have a solid plan. So yeah.
We're seeing a few shots here of Drumroll and Sandstone and a few other horses, but Drumroll has been really the one coming out to big fanfare last season from that point of view. Give us a few of the highlights.
Drumroll, I don't have enough good things to say about him. He's amazing. We started our career on a high. We were lucky enough to purchase him from Mary Jane King and Kelly Mullen, and he's basically done nothing but win in the Green 3-9 and Junior Hunter division with his owner, and I've been lucky enough to win another Hunter Spectacular with him in Michigan, as well as derbies, classics, all sorts of stuff. So I don't have enough good things to say about him.
Harrisburg was a big one for you, wasn't it?
It was a huge accolade for me. It's been a goal of mine to be leading hunter rider at a championship like that, but I thought it would be much further down the road. So I'm forever grateful for him.
We're seeing a little of Drumroll there. What's made Drumroll so special?
Drumroll he's actually not like a lot of my other hunters, I would say. He's very big and he's a little stiff to ride, but I think the reason he's so successful is he's very, very brave. There's nothing he would ever spook at, and I just think he has more scope than most hunters really do. He could jump, any height, so I think it makes all of it really easy for him.
And so how does that make you feel coming in here this season?
It makes me feel really good. I'm very excited.
Looking forward to that. Yeah. Okay, we've got lots coming up to talk about from Hunters because there was a big season this year. We've got some new additions as well, which we'll talk about in a few minutes' time. But all three of you have had a big year last year, 2023. We're already hurtling into 2024. What did last year teach you? Let's start with Hannah.
Last year, it just taught me to keep going. I mean, starting week 1, I was a little petrified, I think, to go into the night class, my first real week with Cloud, but Mario encouraged us and believed in us and our whole team with Dale and Lucy, Delorier, and everyone. So, and it just kept rolling. So we started to vibe and then got the opportunity in Calgary. The goal was to jump the meter 50s well in hopes to get put on a team later in the year. And then we just kept going and ended up jumping our first 5-star Grand Prix and the Queen's Cup. So those are some pretty big things. And you just gotta, you know, fence by fence, step by step, go around the course, and then you just build and it's done.
It's working.
It's working. And yeah, really just believe in yourself, trust yourself, and trust your horse. And it's taught me to kind of surrender more, and the better that horse jumps for me. So it's a nice feeling.
Wonderful. Jacob, from your point of view, 2023, what did we take out of that?
Yeah, that was a big year for me, for sure. One I'll probably never forget. I would say I definitely learned to trust the process. You know, I was a little unsure when we bought Highway. You know, I thought he was going to be a great horse. I didn't know that he was going to turn out to be this spectacular. But to really trust the process, I think, is what I've learned. You know, I bought him. We kind of started slow. I did some meter 30s, meter 40s, did a National Grand Prix, you know, then progressed to a 3-star, then a 4-star, then a 5-star. We jumped the Gold Cup, got to do some Nations Cup teams. So, you know, I think definitely not rushing and, you know, to just trust your horse and trust kind of the natural progression that you two as a team can come to. So
great. And Jeffrey, from your point of view, 2023, what was your big takeaway from there? How do you think? What did it teach you?
I feel like in our lifestyle, it's very easy to like always want more or think about the next thing, bigger, better. And I think with my year, I was really able to like enjoy it and kind of know that what I have, I'm really lucky for, and I was able to kind of stop and actually enjoy what was happening and like cross a lot of goals off my list. So I don't know, I was able to not like feel like I always have to get to the next thing or be worried about like, oh, the next round, the next this. So yeah, it was nice to like slow down a little bit.
You were able to take it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you all had an enjoyable year, didn't you?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, perfect. Let's get 2024 well underway. Let's get it going. And let's talk a little for those at home as well. We're talking hunters, we're talking jumpers here. What do you guys think is the transition between the two? What do we think we learned, Jeffrey? Because you've done jumpers as well. I mean, what do we learn in the hunter ring that benefits there? We've talked a little bit about, you know, how different things can benefit.
I think both the equitation and hunters, I think it just really teaches you discipline, and there's a poise, an art form about it that personally I think can be applied to the jumpers. I think obviously there's not a judge element, but I think the most winningest jumper riders do it in beautiful style and in perfect form, and I think that's really comparable.
Speaking of beautiful style, what do you make of it, Hannah?
Between the hunters and the jumpers,
Yeah.
well, when I think of my perfect ring rhythm with Cloud, I visualize coming in for a hunter derby. Something soft, it gets me a little bit relaxed, it gets me present, dialed into my horse, not thinking about, you know, 5 jumps ahead, and then you hit that rhythm and everything comes up right. Now, I'm probably not quite as finessed as our hunter riders here to get the job done, but Cloud isn't a hunter, so,
Yeah.
but that I think, you know, transfers.
give yourself some credit too. Like you
yeah.
ride him so smooth. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
nice.
Thank you.
Jacob, you're the person that sits between the two, because I think in Traverse City this year you won a Hunter Derby and a Grand Prix on the same weekend. In fact, the same day, I think, wasn't it?
It was the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of both. You know, I feel like I'm starting to focus a lot more on jumpers, but I will say I think, you know, the best jumper rounds, the best jump offs, the clean rounds are usually the smoothest. I mean, you'll definitely have every once in a while someone that comes in and is rough and all this stuff, have a clear round and win, but for the most part, I think the fastest, smoothest, clearest rounds are usually smooth.
Yeah.
And I always think, oh, I had that down. I should have been smoother through the turn. Oh, I didn't jump that quite right. I could have done one less stride. It could have been smoother. So it makes me think back sometimes to hunters and equitation, you know, leaving it out in this line, cutting the turn, not cutting the turn, trying to make it smooth. And I think about that all the time when I'm jumping big jumps and trying to have clear rounds and go fast. You know, it's comes back to the hunter smoothness.
What goes through your mind, Hannah, first when you're jumping like this on Saturday night?
Saturday night. Well, this Saturday night was more. I just wanted to jump a competitive round. You know, some nights maybe when it's a little bigger, you want to survive depending who you're on. And you know, a lot of now it's more the nerves come from wanting to execute it well and be competitive, not just survive. Where some of my past rounds were maybe just surviving.
Yeah.
So that's in there.
You're definitely thriving now.
We're thriving.
We're thriving.
Yes.
Jeffrey, from your point of view, let's take that Grand Hunter Champion win in Penn National. What was going through your mind?
You know, well, drum roll specifically, I think he's so talented naturally. So honestly, most of the time I show him, I try to think, okay, don't mess up, don't get in his way, because obviously he can do it perfectly. So most of the time I just try to stay out of his way and let him do his job, because he knows how to do it very well.
It's because it's been set up well.
Yeah, thank you.
From your point of view, hunters this season, Winter Equestrian Festival is one of the biggest in terms of length, in terms of prize money, of everything that goes on here. What can we expect from you? Tell us a few of your horses, and who else have we got out there to keep an eye on this season?
Well, obviously, Drumroll. He's a great horse of mine. And yeah, I have a few exciting horses. Juan Carlos is a new addition to me that I'm excited about. I purchased a horse from Canada that hopefully will be a competitive first-year horse. So yeah, I have a good string. I'm excited.
And who else is sort of pushing you from that point of view, riders and horses? Who are you looking over your shoulder at?
I mean, obviously, like Jacob, and I think riders like Tori Colvin I always watch out for. Personally, my favorite horse right now is Jenny Hannon, has a first-year horse, and his name is Frosted, and I think he is one of the most talented horses for the year. So I think he's the one to watch out for. Okay, so we'll get to the rings and go watch that one. Yeah. Good, good. Yeah. Jacob, you're going to be doing a bit of both this season?
Yeah, I think I definitely will be.
Who do we look out for?
Yeah, I would agree. Jeffrey always, you know, he has won a lot with Drumroll. He beat me at the National Horse Show. I was second. But I also think that John French, you know, has really kind of come from California in the past few years and has built a really good string of, I would say, like scopy, capable, Derby type horses. You know, he won Derby finals. And I think he has a lot of really, obviously, nice horses that I think will be winning a lot in the Hunters.
Because that one's really interesting, because he and Kent Farrington have teamed up.
It's a good team, yeah, I would say.
Very good team.
I think not just training-wise, but also horse sourcing, too. I mean, I don't think many videos go by Kent, you know. If it's good, he's going to get it.
Well, lots to look out for there. Good luck. Hannah, let's talk your career, which is going in that direction right now. Who've been the big influences on you?
In my junior years, I rode with Karen Healy. She was a big influence through the equitation, and up into young riders. Had some influence from Leslie Howard. And now we're with Mario, and we've been with him over a year, I'd say. Yeah. And it's a great fit. I have really solid basics, and now it's just getting that 5-star finesse at the upper level that I've not had the opportunity. So it's helpful to have the horse and the right team.
Was it always going to be horses?
For me, yes.
Yeah.
As when I finished university, I worked in PR for a year, and then after that turned professional, worked for Karen, and was a working student for some people here, my first WEF, and yeah, just gone on from there.
But for you, it's been horses in the family entrenched all the way through, and
Pretty much, yeah. Dad doing Western movies. My
Yeah.
mom learned to ride when I did at Foxfield, and yeah, it's been quite horsey.
it's been great coming up through that from
Yes,
that point of view.
yes.
And from all of that that's come in, but you've had other talents. You've gone through dance. You've gone through.
Yes, lots of dance. When I was younger, I had to choose if I wanted to be very good at one, either go to ballet school or choose the riding. That was when I was still at Foxfield, so maybe like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I chose the horses
Yeah.
because I love the animals, and then, you know, I think we all love the competition and
choice.
and that rush.
Well, from Mum and Dad's point of view, who was the more disappointed? Because your mum performed in Cats and on stage in the West End.
They were just happy I found what I love.
Yeah.
So as they did in their fields, they are happy
Yeah.
that I chose that.
And that's been hugely successful, and go on and your own career, which has been great.
Yes.
For you, we've got much more coming up in the next few weeks, which
Okay.
we're looking forward to. Jacob, let's talk about Highway.
Okay.
Give me a little bit of background on Highway. We've seen Highway competing now. Where did the horse come from? Where's it progressed to?
Yeah, so Highway, he came from Germany. Max Nieberg was showing him over there up to, I think, 3 stars. He came over to the States and was with Diego Vivero, a guy from South America who actually helps Tani and Rupert Winkleman. And I got to know them a little bit. I tried Highway, I guess it was 2022, it must have been, yeah, because I've had him a year and a half. And he was showing down here a little bit, but not very much. And we kind of bought him and just hit the ground running. Like I said, we took it slow, but I thought maybe he'd jump like some 2 and 3 stars with me. I didn't think I'd jump the biggest tracks at Major League and get on these Nations Cup teams. So it's been a great horse for me, and he's really fun in the barn too, and he's a real character.
What's his character like?
He has 2 white eyes, which is a little, like, horse people know. The horses with white eyes are a little quirky. He's funny in the barn. I always say Nick, who works with me, the first few times he rode him, because he'll flat him sometimes, I was like, don't let your guard down. You know, he never is malicious, but he spooks and is funny, and you just got to be on your A game every time you ride him. There's no loopy rain trail rides going on with Highway. But, he's a really fun horse, and he really gives you a feeling like you could jump anything and go fast and clear rounds, and he's just a real competitor.
The most talented have usually got their quirks.
Yes,
from that
that's
point of
true.
view.
That's
They do.
true.
Cloud, what's he like?
On the daily,
Yeah.
some days is a cloud day where he just puts his head up and won't turn to the left, or really anyway, and just goes. So those days just sometimes are there, and you let him do his thing. But he always is safe. He's not very spooky, and he wants to do the right thing.
Which is great.
So, and in the ring, he always does.
Yeah. Wonderful. Right, we've got some questions for you, for all 3 of you. Jeffrey, we're going to start with you, bringing you into these. And, okay, first one up is going to be for Jeffrey, and let's take a look at who it came from as well, because the good thing is each week you're sending in questions on our WEF International Instagram as well. Here we go, from Lauren Reicher. If you could ride another top rider's hunter, which would you pick, Jeffrey?
It's a good question. I have always wanted to ride Hunt Tosh's horse, Cannon Creek.
Why?
I think he has a lot of similar qualities to Drumroll, and I think similarly scopy, big stride. I think we would get along quite well.
Okay, so there could be more ribbons with that one.
I would hope.
Okay, not sure you're going to get it, but yes. Okay, let's go to your second question. That's come in for Jeffrey as well, and let's take a look at what's come in. And this has come from Lily. What have we got for our next question? And it is, why do you mainly focus on hunters? I think we've covered some of this a little bit.
Yeah.
Give us the insight.
I actually used, when I started my business, I only had jumpers.
Yeah.
So they were actually the main focus. And then I had a pretty serious injury at the Hampton Classic where I broke my leg. And it was just sort of happenstance when I came back from that injury. My supporters and clients at the time were heavily hunter based. So that was sort of the direction it sort of went. And here we are.
Any thoughts of going back towards coloured poles at any
I
point?
was just going to say, it is a New Year's resolution of mine to
Yep.
get back in the jumper ring, and I'm excited to do so.
Jacob, watch out. He's coming back. And a third question for you, Jeffrey, has come from Horse Girl Diaries, and let's just have a little look at what that is. Our third question for you looks like this. Who was your first trainer and when did you start riding? Back to the start.
I started riding a little late, probably 15 or 16 years ago at this point. And I started riding with Don Stewart and Bibby Farmer Hill.
Yeah,
Yep, on the ponies. So yeah,
exciting times.
yeah,
Brilliant. Good. How old were you then?
27.
How old were you then?
Oh, how old was I then? I was 11 years old.
You were 11 years old. Good. Okay, Hannah, your
Yes.
turn. Up you come. Let's take a look at Hannah's questions. And the first of those that have been sent in for Hannah, we had lots of questions for Hannah, but these are the ones we picked out. When did you decide to ride 100% of your time?
After my PR gig in 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
I never really stopped until then. That was the first time I only rode on the weekends. And then, then it was time to work and do it.
Yeah, and it's gone quite well.
It's gone very well.
Okay, let's take a look at the second question for Hannah, and this will be from Ashley Stapleton. Let's have a look at what we've got as our second question for Hannah's 3, and is what is your favourite way to warm up Cloud? We've touched on this a little bit.
So Cloud's show warm-up, I don't flat him the day of the class. He goes for a nice little trot on the line. We let his nose reach on the ground as long as the facility is nice. And then we get on at the ring and trot around and then start jumping. If we canter before we jump, he can be a little silly.
But he has his
So
routine.
we save the power.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, third question for Hannah. Let's take a look. And it's what piece of advice you'd give to a young rider wanting to be into Grand Prix?
I would say just be a student of the sport. Study any rider that you want to emulate. Watch them warm up, watch them on the ground, and really study everything from the ground up, everything about your horse, knowing how to take care of it in the barn, knowing all the vet work. Just immerse yourself and really be a student of everything because it all goes in the mix and you don't know when you'll need it.
Who's your biggest one to watch? Probably
Oh,
now.
that I like? Well, in the
Well,
class on Saturday, it was great that we had Kent, Ben, and McLean,
Yeah.
the pre-qualified. So that was really nice to watch those rounds.
Yeah.
3 perfect rounds. right
Yeah,
off the bat.
to
Yeah.
see, and then I stopped watching except for my teammates.
Yep.
I came up and watched them.
Excellent. You've got that. Thank you very much. Okay, Jacob, your 3. First of those for Jacob Pope looks like this. Something you'd tell your younger self?
I think I would say it's a marathon, not a sprint. I know that that's a little cliche, but I would keep saying, I'm 15, I want to be doing the Big Eck. I'm 18, I want to be jumping Grand Prix. I'm 25, why haven't I jumped a 5-star yet? And I'm not even 30, and I feel like I've accomplished a lot of things that I kept thinking as a younger kid, like, why haven't I done this yet? Why haven't I done this yet? And what's nice about our sport is we can do this until we're pretty old. So,
Yeah.
I've got many years left, hopefully. So to just, keep plugging along and, good people come your way and help you out along the way, which I've been really lucky with. So just kind of keep chugging along, and yeah, it's not a race.
It's not a race. John Whittaker was
Until
winning
the jump
classes at London at 68.
Right,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Might even be 69 now. Okay, let's take a second question. And how did you get to the top level of Shoujin and compete all across the globe? How did you get there, Jacob?
I really kind of have come up through the pipeline, I would say, that's kind of put in place by our governing bodies. I rode in schooling shows until I was, honestly, I don't know, 14 or 15, I never jumped 3'6" junior hunters. I never did regular ponies. You know, I did equitation my last junior year. But I kind of did all these grassroots programs. I did the Emerging Athletes program, which I ended up winning and gave me a little spotlight to get a working student position with Andre. And kind of along the way have just taken every opportunity presented. Judy Richter, who helped Andre, helped me. She gave me my first Grand Prix horse. We did Young Riders together, and kind of just kept going in that natural progression, and basically took every opportunity and program that was offered to us and took advantage of it.
Excellent. Good. Thank you for those. We're going to talk the final part of Hunters with Jeffrey. We're going to take a look at some of the events that are coming up for us in the next few weeks, months, however you want to timeline it. Let's go with weeks, it sounds better. And let's have a look at what's coming up. Some new initiatives this year, Jeffrey, as well. So let's take a look at a few of those, and you'll be taking full advantage of those. Everything from the team classes, of course, to the Hunter Spectacular. 7-year-old, 3 young hunters. 6-year-old, got plenty for the young horses this year. Yeah. That's a big help.
It is. Very nice.
100,000 spectacular for teams this time as well, which is going to be fun. Young hunter, 5-year-olds in there, as say, from the young horse ranks. Hunter derbies over on the Derby field, and of course we can't go far without the World Championship Hunter Night on week 6.
Yeah.
Let's talk a couple of those. Away from the traditional, we've got a team competition this year.
Yeah, it's really cool. It looks amazing. I think Andrew Lustig is sort of helping direct that. I've never done a team event like that, but you need one professional, one junior, and one amateur rider, and I think it's a cool thing. I think it's neat and kind of fun and different for us.
And you're going to be Friday night.
Yes.
Coming up on week 5.
I also think it's a very good opportunity to get in the ring before week 6.
Oh, really? Week 6, from that point of view, of course, is the Hunter Spectacular.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that this year?
I am a very high-strung person by nature, so week 6 is not easy on me. I don't think I sleep at all. But I am lucky enough I have a few buys this year for the night class, so I personally do not have to worry about qualifying. So I think just making sure my students have a good week, and hopefully they can get in there with me, and maybe we can do it again.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned in there, obviously some young horse classes now more for the hunters as well. That helps things along?
It does. I think there's a lot of programs and divisions to bring horses along nowadays, which is nice. I think the young hunters allow greener horses to not always have to compete against like the pre-green horses, which maybe they aren't ready yet, or maybe they're not at the same level experience. I think the pre-green divisions can be quite competitive, especially here. So, yeah.
Excellent. Looking forward to all of that.
Yeah.
Well, that about wraps things up. Just remains to say thank you very much to my guest this week, Jacob Pope.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen.
Good luck this week. You're going to be in action this week?
Next week.
Next week. You're going to take a little breather this week and then back in here
you got it.
For the before star then.
Yes.
From that point of view. Hannah, you're going to be over on the turf?
I'll be on the grass this week.
Looking forward to that. Good luck in the next few weeks
Thank
well.
you.
Big few weeks coming up. And Jeffrey, you're just going to remain busy as ever and nervous about week 6.
Yes, I will.
Jeffrey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And let's see what's coming up this week as well, because as I say, it is going to be a busy week overall. And it's been a fantastic week with all of last week finishing well. And of course, this week we're going to be heading into the $50,000 Palm Beach Equine Clinic Grand Prix. U25s also to feature this week as well, sponsored by Brain Juice. That is going to be over on the grass. And also completing on the grass on Sunday this time is the $140,000 Key Flow Feeds USA Grand Prix, and that is going to be on Sunday afternoon. Join us for all of that. We look forward to seeing you then. Thank you to Dodd Technologies, who will be bringing our streaming to you, and a whole list of us will bring you commentary as well. We'll see you then. Thank you to all on WEF Weekly this week. Thank you to my guests. We'll see you next week in the same spot.